Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome back to Wild Eye Wednesday. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to get back to doing this since I had so much fun during Wild Eye Week. We reviewed so many good movies, it was just a blast. Now, today I'm going to be taking a look at something I've had in my collection for a long time, Morbid. But before I get into my review, I actually bought this when it first came out because of the cover, because, like I said in Joe's review, it has an awesome cover. And I have never reviewed it. So I wanted to kind of talk about this one a little bit. Because this and I have a kind of a sordid past. But I wanted to thank Wild Eye for just being a great company. And I'm going to put the links to their YouTube channel and their official website in the description box below. Definitely check them out. Now, Morbid is a 2013 film which runs approximately 87 minutes and is written and directed by Chuck Connery. Now, he was responsible for Screwdriver and Door 1 of 5 to Hell. Or Door 1 of 5 Doors to Hell. Yeah. Now, this stars Olivia Hayes as Grace. She was in Door 1 of 5 Doors to Hell. Brandon McGirt as Xavier. He had nothing to his credit. And Richard Chilton as Sky fucking Walker. Because that's basically what you hear a lot in this film. And he was in Potter's Ground. Now, this was done for a whopping $500. And the original title was supposed to be called Gluttony. Now, the original concept of this was supposed to be a killer wearing a pig mask, going around picking off people one by one. But since Porkchop came out around the same time, he decided to change his approach. Now, the director, Chuck Connery, and the director from Porkchop, Eamon Hardemans, they became friends over the years. And he didn't want to rip off that movie, basically. I'm going to get into the interesting story behind this one, but I want to go through the synopsis real quick because there's not really much of a plot. You basically have Skywalker, who is a god among quarterbacks, one of the best quarterbacks the town of Grundy has ever seen, and he's playing a big football game during the weekend. Now, a killer, a masked killer, is picking off residents one by one, and that's basically your story. There's not really much to it than that, other than the interesting, the very, very interesting twist towards the end. I'm not going to get into that. It's, yeah, I'll just leave that one alone. But anyway, the interesting story I had about this film is I bought this, like I said, when it first came out years ago. I watched it. Didn't remember a thing about it. Then I checked out Mood 616. He always did top 10 Tuesdays, I believe it was. And one of his top 10 Tuesday lists were the worst movies ever made. And wouldn't you know it, Morbid made the top of the list. And I was like, nah, there's no way. I have this movie. I don't really remember anything about it, but I don't remember it being the worst movie that I've ever seen. Well, I watched it. Now, this was the second time I've watched it. And, it's a rough one. So, I'll just go, it's not a good movie, okay? It's really not. So that's the second time I watched it. Meanwhile, my buddy Brad, Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies, and my buddy Joe, the Horror Man, actually received this a lot more recently. As a matter of fact, Joe ordered it right away after I said how much I didn't like it. He just had to have it after that. Don't know why. Thanks, Joe. So, we were talking one night, Joe and I decided I said, why don't we sit down and watch this together? So we did, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. Fast forward about 2 or 3 days later, I was talking to Brad, and Brad wanted to watch it. He wanted me to watch it with him, so I did. Now, this is the fourth time, mind you, that I've watched this film. And I actually had fun with it, both with Brad and Joe. So that leads me to believe one thing. This is the type of movie you have to put on with your friends while you're watching, kick back with a couple beers, some popcorn, and just have a good time with it. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Like I said, it's not a good movie, but it's a lot of fun. It has its flaws, and there's a ton of them. I agree with everything Brad said in his review, especially the last third of the movie, got to be a little bit much. I agree with everything Joe said because, as I'm watching it with him, we're talking about it and we're kind of, gelling on how this movie is. I'm sorry this is such a long review, but I have a pretty sordid past with this film. And to be honest, I really wanted to talk about it because I refuse to review this because I don't like to give negative reviews, but to be honest, now I don't feel like I have to because I had a really good time with it. So, yeah. It's a horror comedy. It's not to be taken seriously. I definitely recommend it if you want to just kick back and have a good time with a silly slasher movie. Let's hear what Joe has to say on this one.
It has a cool cover.
Thank you, Joe. Like I said, I enjoyed this one. A special thank you to Wildeye for just being a great company and getting movies like this out there. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.